Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Clonks and welcome back to another episode of my FC25 Southampton Career Mode series. This is episode 2 of season 3, so if you missed anything from the first two seasons, there is a link down in the description below for the season playlist, so head there and check that out. If you did only miss the last episode, there will be a separate link for that. Obviously, the opening episode of season 3. Go back and check that out now before you get any spoilers going forward. For those of you who did see it, you know that we had a lot of outgoings, not too many incomings in the last episode. We brought 2 players in and we got rid of a whole load. The 2 players we obviously brought in were the 2 defensive players that we wanted to bring in the names of Nico Williams on that left hand side, and then Kevin Danzo came in as our new starting centre-back. We still got plenty of work to do, but we haven't got too much money to play with, so we're going to have to be very smart with what we're doing. Of course, we still want to bring in a starting left-hand midfielder, and we do want to bring in probably a central attacking midfielder now. I think I have made the decision that we are going to have Fernandez in that box-to-box, but we want to bring in someone to play in that cam position, and then we'll have to play it by ear with regards to what we do after that, because our squad is looking quite bare at the minute, and we still got some players who are on their way out, in the likes of Dibbling, who was potentially going on loan to Everton, and Shea Charles, who is leaving us to head towards Scotland in Rangers. So there's plenty of outgoings still going, as Manning as well. So there's a lot of outgoings. Our squad is very thin, and we need to bring in a few more players ourselves. So we shall see how it goes. Obviously, we want to kick on today because we want to bring in as many players as we possibly can. This is how our budget is looking. So we've got 50 million left, so it's not that much money really. So we need to be very smart with who we bring in. So let's stop rambling, because we got plenty I want to get done today. We want plenty of business to get done, and we do want to play the first game of the season against Crystal Palace. So let's jump straight into it. I am going to advance now, and hopefully those deals go through, so I have a bit more money so I know where I am, and then we shall have a look at potentially bringing in someone ASAP. Okay, so here's confirmation now. I've advanced 1 day, and Ryan Manning is heading out the door. He is going to Ipswich, a team we've done a lot of transfer business already in this save. I don't know if we've actually sold anyone to them. We've brought in a few of their players, but now we're sending someone back to them. So we're doing a lot. We're having a good partnership with Ipswich in this save so far. So that's Manning leaving. We've got an option here to start our pre-season. Now, the most money is this one here. 4.6. What's strange about that 4.6 is it's the least amount of prize money, but I'd probably say that's probably one of the harder ones. So we'll probably go for this one, the European Shield. There are some tough teams in there as well, but potentially gets an extra bit of money. We are going to sim through the pre-season friendly though. We've had 2 more offers come in, this time for Lawrence and another one for Charles. Lawrence, I think now I'm going to reject, because I think I'm going to hold him at the club just for a number, to be honest, because we are looking quite thin in that regard. Another offer here for Shea Charles, this time from Ghent. We'll negotiate it. If they're willing to give us the 6.2 that Rangers gave us, then he can also leave. So we will go in with that offer if they're willing to pay it, which they are. So he has now 2 options. He can either go to Scotland or he could go to Belgium. So that is that for Shea Charles. We've had another offer in here for Kyle Walker-Peters, this time from Crystal Palace. Now, at the beginning of the season, my plan was to potentially bring in a right back to replace Walker-Peters. However, the way it's gone now, I can't really afford to do that. So we are going to reject this, because I don't think Palace is going to give us anywhere near enough money for me to go and replace him. So we are going to reject that. Kyle Walker-Peters will be our backup right back. Okay, here's confirmation then that Tyler Dibbling is going to Everton for 1 year. Probably a deal I maybe haven't look at it now. Maybe I shouldn't have let him go, because we might need him for cover, but it is what it is. I didn't think he was going to be good enough for us this season, so I'm hoping he can go out to Everton and grow. I just hope that doesn't come back and bite me. And another one out the door then Shea Charles heading to Rangers. He decided to go to Rangers, not Genk. So he is heading there, and there's another bit of money for us to go and replace him with. We need to start bringing in people in now, so I am going to go and have a look at doing just that. Okay, so at the beginning of last season, I said that I would like to bring Mavididi in. I decided not to bring Mavididi in because I didn't think it was realistic enough, because Leicester just came up with us and they actually came up in first. They just won the league and the championship. So I was like, to sign him, they wouldn't let him come to a relegation rival. So I decided I was going to wait and I was going to sign him this season. I then last episode took a bit of a U-turn. I say last episode, it was actually towards the end of last season as well. I was looking at how Mavididi was growing and I thought he wasn't growing as well as I thought he was going to, so I decided that I was not going to go for Mavididi. However, now I have gone back towards that because of his price. We haven't got a lot of money in our bank and we need to sign quite a few more players, so I need to maximise and every single deal and try and get as many bargains as I possibly can. And I think Stephen Mavididi at about 8.2 million, 9 million, even though he's 77 overall, I still think he's a good player, and I think that is the kind of player that we need to go for at this current stage on that left-hand side. So that is what I am going to go and do now. I'm going to get Mavididi in. So the board reckons I could get him for potentially 8.2 up to about 10.2, I think it was. So I'll go in with an 8.5. If they can agree with that. They want 9.4 plus a sell on. I'm not prepared to pay that much for him, if I'm honest. Come down to 8,750. If I can get him for under 9 million, I will be happy. They're not really coming down, which is annoying, but I'm going to go with 8.9. Come on, meet me down there, please. 9 million. I don't want him to walk away, but I need to be a bit... I want to save money where I can. They're not coming down. The tension didn't change, though. I know this looks petty, but I need to save as much money as I possibly can. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. That's below what I just offered. 8.950. They're not moving from that 9 million. But I also don't want to just roll over. But 30k is nothing, so I am gonna go in and just accept it. Fine, have 9 million. 9 million for Mavididi though. Still 1.5 million less than what the board thought I could get him for, so I'm quite happy with that. He's happy with important, that's fine with me. We'll put him on a 3-year deal if he's happy to sign that, because he is 28 yet, that's fine. We probably will look to replace him at some point, but at this current stage, we've still got 50 million after the signing ish, then I'm very happy with that. He's on 46 at the minute. I'm willing to give him, willing to put him on 55 and maybe a 150 signing on bonus. Is he happy to sign that? He is happy to sign that. So Mavididi is our third signing and our new left-hand side starter. So I'm happy with it. We talked about it a lot last season that we were going to go and do it. I kind of changed my mind, but I'm glad that we've gone back onto him now because he is going to be a very good player for us. But we do need to start signing a bit more players, so we've got that done. Now I am going to go and try and get the cam. Okay, so the player that I'm going to try and get in that cam position is Eze from Palace. Now we finished above Palace last season. He is 83 overall, so he would be my joint top rated player at that high end, so we can go and sign him. And the reason I'm looking at him is that if we can get him on that lower end, that 24.8, I've got to be thinking here, I've got to be very, very careful with my finances here. If they are asking for too much, I can't just go fine, have it with this deal. I need to try and get him in on that lower end because there are still two other players that we need to get. We need to, if we to be fair, we would like to get a bit more than that, but we need to get another two players. We need to get a backup striker and we need to get, to be honest with you, probably another midfielder. So if we can get him in on that 24.8 million, then I will be happy. So let's go and try and do that. So we're going to go in on that 24.8 million and I'm hoping that they're willing to take it. They want Dewey, they're not having Dewey. 25 million plus a 2% sell-on clause. That would leave us with 22 million. I think we're going to have to walk away from this deal. I think as much as I would like to bring him in, 22 million is not going to leave us with enough money to bring in the rest of the players that we want to. So we're going to have to look at someone a bit cheaper than that. Okay, so the cam position we're going to have to reevaluate. So I will put that aside for a second. What I am going to go do is sign a backup striker. And I think that man is going to be Kasper Tengstedt from Benfica. We could get him for around about 13.3 million, which is absolutely fantastic, and that should leave us with enough money to bring in those two other players that we need to bring in, the two midfielders. So we're going to go in and try and get him. His finishing of 81 is what is selling it to me. His physical stats are really good as well, so I'm hoping that we can get him in for that 13 million. I can't remember exactly how much it was. I'll go into the 13.2. They want Howard Bellis. They're not having Howard Bellis. I need Howard Bellis. So they can forget that. I'll go back in with a 13.3. They want a 10% sell-on clause on top of that. And their tension is quite high. I'm willing to put a sell-on clause on him. Edit sell-on clause. Come down to a 5%. 6%. Alright. I'll go with it because it means that we can get him in on a bit cheaper, so we will accept that 6%, and it looks like that we are going to get another deal done with Kasper Tengstedt coming in to be our backup striker. He wants important, which is annoying, but there's no point even. I mean, I can try. They never accept it. Is he okay to take rotation? He won't. No, they never do. So it is going to be on an important, which is a bit annoying, but it is what it is. He will have game time, so he should be okay. His current wage is only 14,000 at Benfica, which is wild. He wants 44.5 with a signing on bonus. I need to be careful with this signing on bonus. I want to bring it down to 200 if that's possible, just so it leaves me a bit more money. I swear he's just gone up as well. Right, what if I give you 52,000 and can you come down to 300 signing on bonus, just so I can save a bit more money? It's not quite what he wanted, but he's willing to accept it. So there we go. Tengstedt is in as our backup striker. Now we need to sign two midfielders with 31 million. Not an easy task. Let's see what we can do. Okay, a player that I am going to try and bring in to play in that CDM role to start is Yves Bissouma from Spurs. He doesn't play for them at all. They've got a really good squad, Spurs do, so he is in their reserves, so I think he would be open to coming to us and starting. He's 80 overall, solid defensive player, and we could potentially get him for 12.4, which is really good because that would leave us with about 16 million-ish to get a cam in, so I am happy with this. So hopefully we can get him in. Let's go try. We're going to go in with a little bit ballsy, a little bit low. I'm going to go in with a 12 million. They want 15.5, so they want the higher end. They're not having the higher end. They can sniff at it. So if we can get 13 million then, which would leave us with around about 18 million to get in another player. They're coming down a bit, but nowhere near enough. I'm standing my ground here. 13.2, I'm not going any higher than that. No, I don't want to pay 13.6. 13.3 is my final offer. You are really taking the piss now, aren't you, Ange? 13.4, that would leave me with 17 million. If I was to stick and say 30, it would still really leave me with 17 million, so fine. Have your bloody 13.4. So it looks like we're getting our CDM in, which is going to be Yves Bissouma. It wasn't my first choice, but we've had to be a bit thing because we didn't get much money and we've let a lot of players go. Maybe a bit of a mistake on my part. He's absolutely important. He'd get crucial if he asked for it, but that's fine. We'll put him on a 3-year deal. I don't want anything more than that. We'll discard his wage is what's going to be an issue now. Now he's on 86, but to come and play rather than sit on a bench, you should take a bit of a wage cut. So if we offer him 60,000 plus 100,000 signing bonus, I'm hoping he just signs that. He wants, if we remove the bonus, he wants 550 signing on bonus. Come down to 400, please. Just let me have some money. He's happy with that. So Yves Bissouma is in, another signing. That is, I believe, was on our 5th signing. So we are starting to fill the squad up a bit. We just need to get that Cam in now. I think I'll advance a bit though before we have a look, because there's some players that I am scouting in that position because we needed to be a bit more thing. I think we've got about 14 million. What I might go and do now as well is look at the free agents, because I think we need to bring in a few more players just to fill the squad up a bit. So let's go have a look at that I'll go have a look at that free agents list, and I'll let you know if there is anyone of note to potentially bring in and fill up this squad. Okay, so I had a look at the free agents and there was nothing of note there. To be fair, we did leave it a bit late in the window. All the good players have probably signed for clubs now, so that is a non-starter there. So what we're going to have to try and do is loans. I'm going to have to try and get as many loans as I possibly can. I'd like to loan in a Cam, a central midfielder, and then potentially sign a Cam or a central midfielder. So I want to get at least 3 central midfielders in just to bulk up the squad a bit, and then if we've got something left to play with, then we can maybe try and get another winger in, because we're lacking a bit there because we sent loads of people on loan. I don't really want to bring anything back because I don't regret sending all these players out on loan, because I want them to go out there and grow, but we have left ourselves a bit bare. So the first thing I'm going to try and do is loan Mason Mount. If we can get Mason Mount in on loan, which United are willing for us to do, then I will be very happy with this. We'll go with basic terms. Obviously just for the year, I'd be very happy with this signing. This would be a very good signing. I don't want to pay that much of his wage though. I would like to at least pay 40%, please, which they are happy to do. So Mason Mount could be on his way in. That's a good start. Next, I'm going to try and bring in James McAtee on loan from Man City next, just for that cover. He can also play Cam and central midfield, so he'd be a really good signing to bring in. So we're going to go and again, basic. I don't think I'll want to sign him 1 year, which City are happy with. What's his wage? So he's on 70,000, which is quite a bit. Again, I'd like to go a bit less, to be honest, if I possibly can. They're not gonna agree to that. Can we go 40 then, like United? No, they want 50-50. They want me to pay 35,000 of his wages. What about? I'm just trying to save as much money as I possibly can, and they don't want to pay that much. So that has fallen through. So that is a no-go for us now. So we'll have to reassess what we're gonna do next. Okay, another player I'm gonna try and get on loan is Keenan Dewsbury Hall. And Chelsea are willing to let him go on loan, so this is another good signing we could potentially get. Basic terms again for the 1 year. If we can get him in, I will be very happy with this signing. Like the same with Mason Mount, although his wages are 98,000. So again, if I can pay 40% of that, then I'd be happy. They are happy with that, so that is another loan signing we can potentially get in, which is another huge signing. To get him and Mason Mount in would be really good for us, because they will both be able to rotate in a multiple of roles, in that central midfield role and also in the cam role. So I'm happy with that. Now I am going to try and sign someone, and that someone I think is going to be Ismail Yassar, because we could get him for quite cheap. We get him for about 9 million, which would leave us with about 4 million left in the bank. And he can play on the right hand side, and he can play Cam, which is really good. So he's another signing that is versatile, that we can use in multiple roles. So I am looking to do this deal. We can try and sign him for 9 million. If I can maybe get him for 8.9, which the board said, which, you know, just to save that little bit more money, then I will be happy. They want Kyle Walker-Peters. Well, they're not having Kyle Walker-Peters, so they can forget that. Please just accept the 8.9 that I asked for. I'm not paying 9.4. Come down to 9 million then, and we can call it a deal. They still want 9.4. I'm not giving you 9.4. Come down to 9 million, please. Which they have. So we are looking like we're about to get Ismail Yassar in, which is what all we'll do now. We'll get him in, and then we shall advance, and hopefully we'll get the other 2 players in as well. I just need to be careful that we can afford them. That's the only thing. So let's hopefully he's willing to take a wage cut. I'm hoping. He wants He wants a big signing on bonus, which I don't want to give him. 150. Ugh. Still very high. 250. Fine, he can have that. So Ismail Sarr is now coming in, so we shall advance now. Another good signing. I think we are in a good place now. So once we get these 2 loan deals in, I'll see what I've got left. I don't think I'm going to have anything left, to be honest. We might have just hit where we are going to be this season with these players, but I would be happy as long as we can get those 2 loan deals in now as well in those central positions. We are in a good place. I think we're going to keep a Dozy now. We won't let him go. We'll keep him just to have that backup because, like I said, my squad is very thin. So let's advance now towards the next game. We'll try and sim through the pre-season because there's not much I need to do now. I just need those loan deals to come in, and once they're in, I think we're done with regards to signings. We've actually had 2 offers. We've had 1 offer for Downs from Bournemouth, but we're going to straight up reject that. And we've had a loan to buy for Lawrence, but again we're going to reject it because I think I can't really let anyone else go now. So we are going to advance now, and hopefully we can get those 2 loan deals in. We'll be very happy with them. I think one of them is coming through the door. Is that Mason Mount? It is. Mason Mount makes his way into the club, so we are happy with that. He is here for 1 year, so Mason Mount is a really good signing for us, and I'm very happy that he is here at the club for that 1 year loan deal. So he will come straight onto the bench. Where is he? There he is, Mason Mount. And now we're just hoping, we'll take Davis out. Now we're just hoping that we can get Dewsbury Hall in as well. And here he is, Dewsbury Hall in. 2 really good loan deals for us. 2 former Chelsea players, I suppose. I mean, Dewsbury Hall is obviously a current Chelsea player, but now he is coming to us on loan, so I am very, very happy with that. Not what we were planning on doing at the beginning of the season. I've already said that, but you got to do what you got to do. We let a lot of players go, and we obviously run out of money, but I think these are really, really good. This is really smart business, I would say. Not to toot my own horn, but I think it's very smart to bring these in. We also got Ward-Prowse and Downs. I think we are looking good now. Dewsbury Hall will jump into there. I think he will be our starting cam, and then Ismail Sarr will drop to the bench, which we will put him instead of Walker Peters. Doherty can stay on the bench. I am very happy with this. We also got Dan James as well, who's going to be backup. I think this squad is looking really good now, and we shall advance. I'm pretty sure that's all we are going to be able to do now. I'll have a quick look at the finances, but I think unless I've got some money to do something with, that is going to be our team now heading into the next season, which I'm very happy with. So let's head towards the pre-season friendly, get through that, and let's get towards that first game of the season. Okay, some shock news here. So West Ham have approached Taylor Howard-Bellis directly with a 14.7 million because he had that in his release clause, which in his contract, which I was not aware of. It happened to us with someone. It happened with us Fernandez last season, and I decided to offer a new contract to keep him, which he accepted. Now this one, I could go and do that again, and maybe I should go and do that again because of how our finances is, and we can't really afford to let him go. However, I have just dropped him to be backup. Now, he would probably get promised first team football at West Ham because I don't think they've got any players. Now, he would have seen these players come in. He would have seen that I've got Greaves, and now I've brought in Danzo, and he would probably be thinking, my spot at Southampton is probably gone. I'm probably going to be back up there, which is true. So I think I'm going to have to let this play out. I think realistically he would be open to go into West Ham in this stage. So even though I probably could get a lot more for Howard-Bellis because he's only 24 and he's a 79 overall, I think I'm going to have to just accept that this is going to go through, and we're going to have to look for another centre-back. We can get some money for it, and we've got, I think we had about 2 million left over, so we will have about 15 million-ish to try and get a centre-back in. So that's what we will go ahead and do. We'll see how it plays out. He might not go through. It might go through. It probably will go through. So let's see what happens. Let's advance. Okay, so we've reached the first pre-season friendly, which we are going to sim. A quick sim it. We're going to go with our starting lineup and see how it does against Mallorca. Hopefully get a win, a nice 3-0 win, and no injuries, which is what we like. Dewey getting a goal. Mavididi getting a goal on, I suppose, his debut. It's not really his debut though, and Delap getting a goal as well, so we're happy with that. Let's advance. And here's that confirmation then. We are going to have to look for a centre-back because Howard Bellis has been bought out of his contract by West Ham, 14.6 million I believe it was. He is heading to West Ham to join D'Cunha. 14.7 it was, to join D'Cunha, who has also gone to West Ham. So that's two of our players now heading to West Ham. We will go now and have a look at replacing him and see what we can do, because again we've only got about 13 million to play with, so let's see what we can do with that. Of course it's only a backup we need, so we should be able to. Let's go see. Okay, second pre-season game then. Before we go and look at that centre-back, I want to get through the pre-season, so we will go and sim this one against Borussia Dortmund. We've rotated the squad a bit, but we have taken a win, which is very good. A really good win, considering we were against a very difficult side there in Borussia Dortmund. Dan James getting a goal and Tankstead getting a goal on his unofficial debut, so that is really good. Another win. Let's advance. Two more offers here then. One for Bazunu, who was our backup goalkeeper from Coventry, so we are going to reject that. He is staying. I don't want to look for a backup goalkeeper, so I'm happy with that. And then we've had an offer for a backup left back from Chelsea for Doherty, obviously. Usually I'd be like, yeah, probably going to have to look at this because it's from Chelsea, but they don't need him. They've got some decent left backs in their squad, so I'm quite happy to reject it at this current stage, because I again have got too many transfers that need doing. I mean, I've only got one now, but I haven't got lots of money. I don't really want to be looking to sign another left back, so we are going to reject that. And let's head towards the final pre-season game now, and hopefully I have made a decision as well, as I'm going to play this Crystal Palace game first before I decide to go and get a new centre-back. We might have to look at a centre-back maybe on deadline day in the next episode, because I want some scouts to come back as well on some players that I'm looking at, because we need to be careful with our transfer, with our finances again, because I do want to sign a couple of contracts as well, so I need to make sure I've got the money to be able to do that. So yeah, we'll do that in the next episode and sign a new centre-back then. For now, let's head towards this final pre-season friendly and then towards that Crystal Palace game, first game of the season. Final pre-season game then against Bologna, where we won the first two, so can we make it 3 out of 3? Our starting line pretty much is starting this one. Are we going to win it? We're going to get a draw. So undefeated in pre-season, I'm happy with that, really good. Our squad is looking decent. I'm very happy with how it's going. Obviously, I haven't played with it yet. It's just been a pre-season sim, but I am happy with how that's gone. So I think we should get a bit more money for that, I'd imagine, because I think we should. We're in a good chance of winning that. We didn't win it. Okay, that we probably needed to win that one to win it. So we didn't win it, so we're not getting any money from that, which is a bit disappointing. But overall, I'm happy that we went undefeated. So let's head now towards this Crystal Palace game, the first game of the season, because I'm not looking to do anything between now and then. If there's any transfer offers we get in, then obviously I will show you. But if not, we will head towards that first game of the season, which I am very much looking forward to. Okay, as you can see, a bit of a curveball being thrown by Spurs. They've come in for Liam Delap, our starting striker, and they've offered 43.2 million. He'd start for them because they've only got Dominic Solanke and Will Langshire. I believe he would start in front of Solanke. So in a team that's actually really good in other areas of that squad. So this is an offer that I'm probably gonna have to negotiate. I can't refuse it. The board reckon I could get up to 86.4 million for him. I don't think we're gonna get that. I think if we ask for that, Spurs are walking. But I do believe that we could get in the region of 60 million. They've offered 43.2. I'm quite within my right to ask for a lot more than that. He's a really good prospect, and obviously he scored plenty of goals for us last season. And I don't really want to lose him, because if we lose him, we're gonna have to go and find someone. But I'm going to ask for 60 million, which they are willing to pay. Maybe it's a bargain, because like I said, the board said we could get potentially 88.88 million or whatever it was. So maybe Spurs have just walked out of that thinking, wow, we've really pulled down Mr. Clonks' pants. But I'm happy with 60 million though, because we can do a lot with that. So it looks like we are now going to have to go and try and find a new striker. And here is that confirmation then of Liam Delap after one season with us, he is leaving. When we signed him, I only signed him because, I wanted him obviously, but he was in the Championship with Ipswich and nobody was really going for him, and I thought he's too good for the Championship. We brought him in, he started off well, had a bit of a dip mid-season, but end of the season pretty decent as well. But now he's got his big money move, as he has in real life. Obviously he's gone to Chelsea in real life, and there he is. He's off to Spurs, and it's an excellent deal on our end to get 60 million. They reckon we did a fantastic job there, which again, the board did say to me that they think we could have got 84 million, but no, they're saying excellent job with 60 million, so a bit contradictory as usual. But anyway, the thing I've noticed now is we're probably going to sign a objective, because I'm going to go and try and sign a striker now. We obviously got Tankstead in, but I do want to sign someone to start. He was always going to be my backup, so we're going to go and try and sign a starting striker, and we should tick that crucial box, because he will probably want crucial who we go for. So let's go have a look at our options. Okay, looking at the striker position, then we have reached the Palace game, so we need to make that signing now. I was hoping a couple more scouts would come back. Now, one player that popped into my head, I was like, oh, we could go and get him because he's only just come up with Bournemouth, is Evan Nielsen. However, he has gone to Barcelona, so we're not going to get him. Solanke, I was hoping to maybe go and, Spurs just took Delap, so I was like, oh, maybe I could take Solanke, but we haven't had the scout report back in time, so I'm not going to be able to sign Solanke. Darwin Núñez was another one I was potentially going to try and get. Again, I don't know what his overall is. I think I can't sign him without knowing, because obviously I can't sign players that are over that 83 overall mark, so that's why we are going to rule out Ekitike. Ramos, he was at PSG anyway, so he has moved. He's gone to Leipzig. So the player that I think I'm going to go for, João Pedro was another one I was thinking maybe, but I've decided against it because they are playing European football, so it's probably not a realistic move to go for. So it's going to be either Emmanuel Emega, I'm looking at potentially. The other one is maybe Strand Larsen, but I think the player I am going to go and get is Amin Gouiri from Marseille. I think I'm going to go and bring him in. He's a really good striker. He's got decent dribbling stats, physically very good, technically very good. So yeah, I think that is the player I am going to go for. We could potentially get him for 26.2 million, which would leave us with plenty of money to go and get a centre back as well. So I am going to go and try and get Gouiri in to be our starting striker. We'll go in with a 26 million offer. They won 32.8, but tension's not too high, so we could come down a bit. Hopefully they're willing to negotiate. I'll go 27.5. They're sticking to 32.8 now. The tension's gone up. What about under 30 million? I'd be happy. What about 28.8? They want 30 million. I need to be very careful here. I don't want them to walk away. 29.5. They're not. They're sticking with 30. And all right. That leaves us with 42 million to go and get a backup centre back. So I'm happy with that. So let's get Gouiri in, and he will be starting the next game against Palace, which we are going to jump into as soon as we get him in. We'll give him crucial because he will have that, and it will take off an objective for me as well. 3 years, happy with that. No release clause, that is fine. And he's not going to say what he wants, but we'll give him a bit of a wage increase for joining us. We'll put him up until his 70,000. Not a 1 million signing on bonus, that is ridiculous. And 100,000 signing on bonus, he's happy with that. So Amin Gouiri is going to be our new starting striker. Let's jump in to the Crystal Palace game next. Crystal Palace team then for the first game of the new season. Hyun Woo-jo as the goalkeeper, Daniel Munoz, Mark Gahey, Lacroix, Chris Richards, and then Tyreek Mitchell as the back five, with Decore and Wharton as the two central midfielders. You've got Ryan Gold out on the right, Udonis up top through the middle, and then Eberechi Eze on the left. Now, Palace team is a little bit weak, to be fair. Their starting lineup, apart from the goalkeepers, decent. Goalkeeper's a little bit of a weaker option. They don't really have anyone else. And then the bench is okay, but you could see that they would definitely need a bit more signings in there. Obviously, we've taken one of their players in, that being, of course, Ismail Assar, who is on our bench today. I'm very, very excited to use this team this season. I think we are looking very strong. We have brought in some decent players. This is our starting lineup with Guri coming in as well to start as this game. So let's go into it, and hopefully we can do a bit better than we did last season and actually win our first game of the season, because last season we lost to Hull. So let's try and get the first 3 points of this Premier League season. Bissouma. Good first touch by Dewsbury Hall. Hutchinson. Guri. Into Fernandez. Oh, what a finish. And what a way to start the season. A fantastic strike from the ever-present Mateus Fernandez. Of course, still here. We haven't had any offers for him this transfer window, which I'm very surprised about. And we're heading towards the end of it now. And I don't think I'm going to accept any offers that come in for him, because he is absolutely fantastic. And he is definitely our best player at this current stage. What another finish by him. He pops up with goals and assists. He's consistent, that's what I like about him. And he has popped up with the first goal of Season 3. Fantastic, 1-0. It's a good interception. Now it's Gold, plays it in to Jordanis, who gets round his man. And Ramsdale is forced into a save. It's Palace's first shot in the 42nd minute. We've been defended really well in this game. But they get an opportunity there, and Ramsdale is showing why we want him in this squad. And another good save by him. Headed away, it might get another chance. They don't, and we should get this ball away. Mavididi looking for Guri. It is going to come back at us though, with Gold, who does take a strike, blocked. And that's the end of that. We head towards half time. We are 1-0 up. Strike, and it's in. Well, I was concentrating because I was trying to tackle him and I couldn't get a foot in. And we've paid for not getting that foot in, because Ioannidis, or however you say his name, early on in the second half, literally just gets through all of defence, gets a strike away, and gets a pass Ramsdale to equalise. 1-1 here at Selhurst Park. Hutchinson, Dewey looking for Hutchinson. He does get a good bit of pressing. Try and get this for the back post. That could curl in, you know. Oof. I thought that was going in. It was a cross that nearly went in, hit the crossbar, but it is still 1-1. Dewey into Hutchinson. Bissouma, pass it into Mount. Still Mount, turns his man, gets a strike away, and the refs pointed to the spot. Now, if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen any of the last 2 seasons, which I do suggest you go back and watch before you move on, we do check handballs in the box with a VAR check. So we have a look. It was in the highlight replay. We have an initial look. I didn't see them because I was explaining the rules then, but we do have an initial look at the first replay. But then we have a more in-depth look using the highlight replay just to see if it's a handball. If it's a bit of a dodgy one, we overturn it. If obviously because they can be dodgy in the box, we overturn it by obviously missing the penalty, but you don't see that bit just for realism reasons. But looking at it, there's not much he can do. It's bounced up, hit his arm, and that's a bit of a harsh decision. It's one of those that you're like, it can get given in real life, those kind of things, but because it bounces up and hits his arm, he doesn't. Ooh, you know what? I was saying he doesn't move his arm towards the ball. However, he does. There's movement. That movement there, where he pulls it and hits his arm, I think that movement, it's on its own, has meant that this is a penalty. If it just bounced up, hit his arm, it would have been overturned. But because he moves his arm onto the ball, it's a penalty. So on his debut, Guri is stepping up to take this penalty. Can he get a debut goal and put us into the lead? Yes, he can. He goes right, keeper doesn't move, and Guri gets a debut goal from the spot, and we make it 2-1 as we head towards the last 20 minutes of this match. Munoz into Gold. Good bit of run to get around Greaves by Gold. Greaves has got the wrong side of him now. Into Ioannidis, the goal scorer and the brace scorer. Another goal, 2 shots by him, 2 goals, and he's been deadly. And he's equalised yet again. We've conceded 2 goals in the opening game, which isn't ideal with our new defensive pairing, but I'm not too worried because both shots have been from quite far out. They've just been that accurate that they've gone into the top corner twice. So our changes coming on now with taking Guri off, Tenstead's coming on for his debut, Sar's coming on for his debut against his former club, and Downs, well, I brought Downs on for Fernandes for a bit more defensive cover. Well, that's gone out the window. Can we get another goal? There's a ball in, looking for Gudonis, who's done well, and he's got his hat-trick. Ugh. Conceding 3 goals in the first game of the season, not great. Not happy with that. But Ionidis has got his hat-trick. And to be honest with you, as much as I'm not happy with it, there's not much you can do about it. That bit of skill there, it's just really good bit of play. Just really good bit of play by him. He has had a really good game, and he's topped it off by scoring his hat-trick, and we go behind for the first time in this game and this season. Not good. We've got 10 minutes to try and scrape a draw back at least. 4 minutes left, then we've got a counter-attack here. Mount gets it over, and Wharton is about to get a second yellow card. It could even be a red, to be honest, straight red. It was a bit of a nasty challenge. It was no intent. It was to bring it, or it is just second yellow, so the ref did deem it to be only a yellow. And off he goes, but he might have just saved his side and got his side a win by stopping that counter-attack. He had to do it, took one for the team, although it might mean nothing if he gets into Sar against his former side, and he can't put it in, and that is probably going to be it. That was an opportunity to really get us our first point of the season there, and it does look like, unfortunately, we are going to lose the first game of the season yet again, unless that touch is pulled by Mason Mount. It is going to be it. We are going to go down to a defeat in the first game of the season for the second time in a row. Not ideal, not great, but it's only the first game of the season, so all we can say. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. All of these players are new to the lineup. We've got a lot of new players. I believe 6 started, and I believe 7 or 8 made their debut in this game. So we can't be too thing about it. It was just unfortunate that Ioannidis was having the game of his career so far by scoring 3 really good goals. But yeah, let's wrap up the episode now. Then we won't advance anymore. We shall end it here, and let's just go see what the league table is looking like after that disappointing result. So after that first game of the season, which of course ended in defeat, we are sat in 11th. We can't seem to break that 11th curse at the minute. We seem to always be sat in 11th, which is interesting considering we lost our first game of the season. To be sat in 11th, usually that means you're down the bottom-ish, but a lot of teams lost their first game of the season. I don't think there was any draws, was there? I don't think there was a single draw in the first game of the season, which is wild. Yeah, no draws. And there's some shock results in there as well, with Liverpool losing to Leicester. I think Arsenal just about beating Norwich is an interesting one. Obviously City had Chelsea, that's why they lost their first game of the season. So maybe it's just that Liverpool game really that's the biggest shock. Obviously us losing 3-2 isn't ideal, but there's still plenty of games to go, although it's not going to get any easier. Because in the next episode we have a game against Arsenal next. Which we will play. We will sim that cup game against Gillingham. Of course, we got to the Carabao Cup final last season, but unfortunately lost to City in that final. If we can get there again, I'll be happy. I'm not going to play the games again though, unless we get to the latter stages, so we will be simming it. And I am going to try and focus more on the FA Cup this season, because that is the cup competition I would like to potentially get to another final, hopefully, if we can. It'd be a very, very good, but there's still a long way to go before then, and then we will end that episode against Norwich as well, which we will play, newly promoted Norwich, so hopefully we can get 3 points there. And then we will have deadline day. Of course, we want to sign a centre back, because obviously Howard Bellis is gone. We would like to sign a backup centre back, so that is what we are going to look to do between now and deadline day, but all that will be in the next episode. But that's why we shall wrap this episode up, guys. If you have enjoyed, please remember to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss anything else from this series and my channel. And it would have been better to have won the first game of the season, so that's been a bit of a disappointment. But overall, I am happy with how things have gone. Our squad is looking good. Again, I'm not going to take too much into that first game. I think we did play better than Palace in that game. It was just unfortunate that Yoandis decided to play the game of his life and get a hat-trick in the first game. But the only way is up, and that is what we will look to do in that next episode. And I shall see you guys in that next episode. I've been Clonks, and remember guys, take care.